Well, my name's Craig McIntyre, and our band is called the Camans. As far as my music career is concerned, I started late in life, probably about 15 years ago, can't remember. It was a small village beer festival, and I played at it the first time I'd ever played live, and I just was addicted to it. It was so good. I played 8 songs, all cover songs. I'd never written anything and never played in front of an audience. And that was me. I was hooked, and I just took off from there. Oh, as far as the Camans becoming a band is concerned, back about I think it was 14 years ago, just after I had started playing music, I was running a small local youth club, if you want to call it that. It was called Live and Local, and the idea was to get the kids out of the house playing their music, and we done it in the Cairnroo Village Hall, where the parents would come with them, and I would set up a wee PA system. And as far as the start of the Camans, it was the 2 young lads. One was, I think, 15, one was 16, Scott and Dan Brown. And they immediately connected and started jamming. And I jumped in, my enthusiasm overtook me. And I said, "Oh, I know that song, I can play along with it. That's Bob Dylan playing Knocking on Heaven's Door." And the two young lads turned round, and in unison they said to me, "No, it's Guns N' Roses." And everybody, well, all the older people in the hall were in fits. So that's how we get started. And funnily enough, about 3 months later, we had formed a band. Believe it or not, there was 2 older guys, me and the drummer, and Dan and Scott, and we were doing gigs and weddings and functions, and we were just flying at the time. They were just kids. And Scott and Dan were with me on and off up until now. Scott's still there. He's been there for 10 years. As far as Rona's concerned, that's who we are. The Camans are a 3-piece, and there's me, Scott, and Rona's a violinist. She's a classical violin player, and in one of the weddings we were doing, the woman wanted a classical violinist to play at her ceremony, and also we would do the reception in the George Hotel. So anyway, that happened, as Rona calls it, a serendipitous meeting that she had. And after the wedding, I said, "Do you want to join a rock and roll band?" And sure enough, she's played every gig since for 10 years. So that's how we got together. Oh, the name, the Camans. I think we sort of, not long after we'd started, and I ended up with, I think there was 5 of us in the band, and 4 of them played shinty. Believe it or not, shinty's, if you don't know what shinty is, it's a game that's played in the Highlands, a stick and a ball, and it's just mental. But they all played shinty, the youngsters. And the name of the stick that they hit the ball with is called a Caman. So therefore I thought, right, let's call the band the Camans, and that's where the name came from. Well, as far as the Camans' music's concerned, we're a covers band. That's what we've done for the 10 years we've been together. We play festivals, concerts, gigs, weddings, anything. They phone me up, we'll play it. But throughout the 10-year period, we have been writing music. And as far as this new album that we have out, This Is Us, it's called, it's basically a compilation of the music that we've done over the last 10 years. I'm talking about our own music. And we also added, these are songs, we also added 3 tunes because we felt, this is on the new album, we felt it described what we do. We can also do traditional music, tunes, etc. And with having Rona in the band, we can do classical music if needed, like canon in D at a wedding, or if they specifically ask for a violinist, we just call Rona in. So yeah, that I wouldn't. As far as I don't know if it's the right word, pigeonholing us, but the genre is it's just indie rock, I suppose. Okay, the Camans are a three-piece instrumental live band, basically. We have myself, I'm the lead singer and rhythm guitarist. Then I also play it's a floor-mounted tambourine, just to give us a bit of percussion. Scott's the lead guitarist, and he's backing vocals, and he also plays a kick drum. So and a cajon. When we do traditional music, Scott jumps onto the cajon and gives us a bit of percussion. And Rona, she's a violinist, but she also plays the ukulele. And as of last night, she bought a viola. So that's going to be another addition to the Camans instrumental family, hopefully. The Camans, as a band, I would say, are musical. Well, they're all different. Mine, I'm a lot older than the other two, so my influences were Bob Dylan, but Bruce Springsteen, I suppose. Scott, I think Scott I would say Guns N' Roses as a big one. And Rona, well, I think she loves the Corrs, and also the Dixie Chicks. That's as far as I can remember. We were gigging generally in and around Argyll, and it was generally in pubs, clubs, weddings, functions. But we also, we played in the Isles, Mull and Ella Call were on there last year. We were supposed to be playing at a wedding in Iona last year, rather. But we do go to Helensburgh and Clydebank and occasionally up north. But no, we're fairly local where we play, where we gig. Oh, the standout gig for us was it was last year. It was in January, beginning of February, just before lockdown. And the band and our families, we all jumped on a plane and went to Australia for a family wedding. And that was just, the gig of a lifetime. We played at Kevin and Gemma's wedding in Perth, Australia, outside in a vineyard. And then we squeezed another gig in at a place called Rosie O'Grady's. So that has to be the standout gig for us. Oh, the creative process of, myself and I would suppose say the Camans. I'm the songwriter, so I do the lyrics. I just sit on my own, come up with some lyrics for songs and a basic melody, but they then get sent over to Scott and Rona, and they put the music to them. So I suppose they're the musicians, I'm the singer-songwriter, and I don't know, the process they just sit down, a couple of beers, and away we go. And they come almost overnight until the last few, words. They can take a month trying to just finish a song off, strangely enough. Most of it will come overnight. Okay, as far as the vibe that we have got at the Camans, we've 10 years gigging almost every weekend, and it's just a strange thing. First of all, I would say that we've never had any fallouts, either musically or personally. We just got on well, and also it just seems to work. I'm a generation apart from them, but I'm very energetic, and they just feed off that. And I make mistakes, they just sail through them. And as my friend who's a journalist and a musician, last New Year we were playing before lockdown. He says to me, he says, Craig, it's as if he's a telepathic as musicians, and it's not really that we're telepathic. They just know when I'm going to make a mistake, and they just sail through it. So that's us. Oh, as far as the Camans, making music with the Camans, the most enjoyable thing is playing live. Yeah, we've been playing live together, festivals, gigs, etc., for 10 years, and we've got one album, and it was out the end of last year. We don't visit the studio very often, although I've got a studio. It's not we practice in it. That's all. No, it's definitely playing live, and we're glad rags on, and we're actually a 5-piece. That's my wife and Rona's mum. They're never not at the gigs. They still continue to insist that they are an integral part of the band, which Rona denies, but I'll let them fight it out. Oh, the inspiration for the album. What happened was there was a friend of mine running a gig down in down by Loch Gilphead, and he asked us to play at it, but we had to play our own music. He wouldn't even allow us to do arrangements or anything of traditional music. It had to be our music, and we threw together what we had, which was, 9 songs. We practiced once running through the songs, and then we done the gig, and we had such a hit, such a buzz, that we just decided we have to put this into an album, and that's where it came from. Well, the favourite song off the album is, I suppose, the song Desire. That we've just loved the whole arrangement of it, the sound of it. But there was a song that came on very late in the day on the recording process, and the story behind this song, it's called All Alone, is my wife came in around about March last year, and she had a wee tear in her eye, and she had just visited she was just in Inveraray visiting her daughter, and we've got 3 granddaughters, and it was when we found out that we could no longer see them, had a physical contact with them. So, and the song's called All Alone, and the key line is, as I saw you through the window pane. So, and once it's just really, we love it. We love the whole feel of it. It's a slow ballad, and it was about coronavirus and the effects of it. So that's my favourite song now. As far as COVID's concerned, I run a residential music studio on a croft, and that's the premises. So therefore, we are allowed to, or up until lockdown, we were allowed to do live events under the event sector guidance. So I got myself a small marquee that we could house the equipment, and we were live streaming. Basically, the band would come up and we would just live stream out onto Facebook Live. So we were lucky, and also we caught onto an app called Acapella, and that allowed us to do remote video recording, where Rona would set it up, I would put them singing and guitar on, Rona would then take it, add her violin in, and then Scott would get it and he would add his guitar vocals on, and then it would go out through Acapella. Rona would put it onto Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, we're still doing that. We've got we've actually got a song that's not, it's a very new song. We've just finished it recently. So I sent it over to Rona yesterday, and she'll do the violin and Scott will do the guitar, and it will land on Facebook. Oh, the Camans album, This Is Us, was actually recorded. First of all, I have my own residential music studio, but we decided to go through and do the album in another studio in Edinburgh called Post Electric Studios. Danny Herbert was the engineer and producer, and in fact, what's going to be happening is I'm putting an extension on the studio that will have accommodation, and Danny and another bunch of engineers, and they'll work it between them, will be working in my studio also. So that's the way forward for me, and my recording Oh, the Camans, our plans for the future. We are going to continue gigging. That's, as soon as we get out of this situation. The thing is, because of the recent announcements by the government, it looks like we'll be able to get live streaming from my, from the Croft by the 17th of, I think it's 17th of May. So a couple of months away, and we'll still be doing our a cappella, but 2 months and we should be at least be able to live stream to a small audience, and then hopefully a month or two after that. But well, I don't even want to predict it. Just that's hopefully the way forward. Well, the Camans are on Instagram, and just type in the Camans. Facebook, we're on Facebook. We have an album out, and you can buy that through www.thecamans.co.uk, or contact me in any way whatsoever, and I'll deal with anything with regards to getting the album out to you. And we have also some merchandising that can be purchased through the website.